This is Jeanne, paranormal investigator for the Preternatural Physics Incorporated. It is now going on 10 p.m. Central Time. Now, what I'm about to tell you may sound strange and unbelievable, but just hear me out. My boss texted me a file and said it was critical that I follow up on this case and find whatever I could. The jackass even wants me to get pictures as if that's going to prove anything. I guess I should explain. The files that were sent to me are titled The Petit Sisters. So, based on what I read in this file, there was a massacre that happened back in 2013 in Wichita, Kansas. An entire family of 5 was killed. According to the police report by Colin Wisherman, the scene was not pretty. One thing that Inspector Wisherman did note, however, was that a doll with blonde hair wearing a red velvet dress was lying on the floor just meters away from the body of the father. A doll that he suspected was involved in the murders. The inspector, fearing for his reputation and possible ridicule, had it cased in a glass container and shipped all the way to France. He ruled the death of the family as a murder-suicide committed by the father. However, the forensic investigator, John Wales, sued Wisherman because the case file was inconsistent with his findings on the victims' corpses. And so the inspector was put on suspension for lying about the case and for withholding evidence. But that's not the end of it either. This right here was just sent to me about 15 minutes to 10. It's a news article that was published back in October 2015. Let me read it to you. Headline runs, Missing Doll from France found in the house of Government Inspector Colin Wisherman. A blonde-haired doll wearing a velvet dress was reported missing from a museum in France. The museum owner claimed to the governmental authorities that the doll was crafted in the 1930s and wasn't original, and that whoever found it will be paid $1,500, while the person who stole it will be fined that amount and face 5 years in prison. The doll was reported to have been seen at a local toy shop, was then later sold to a family with an only child. The police arrested the toy shop owner, who later claimed that he had no idea where the doll came from. Authorities tracked down the family who bought the doll, west in France, but they were found dead. The causes of their death were unknown. Autopsy reports claimed that the victims' blood was drained from their bodies and that there were 2 tiny puncture marks at the victims' throats. The doll, to this day, remains missing. There's more. In Atchison, Kansas, the Wisherman family was later found dead. A neighbor claimed to have heard gunshots coming from the house next door to him. This neighbor, who wishes to be anonymous, said that upon entering the Wisherman's residence, found the younger daughter hanging from the ceiling fan, dead. The wife and son appear to have been shot. I know, it sounds horrifying. But there's a twist here. Colin was found standing in front of a chair with his gun pointed to a blonde-haired doll in a velvet dress. Wisherman was brought in for interrogation, and when asked multiple times as to how the murders were committed, each time Wisherman replied, the doll did it. He pleaded guilty, but was registered as mentally unstable and brought to the state institution, where he continues to receive treatment and further questioning. He changed his story many times, first saying that the doll tempted him and drove him to commit the horrifying acts, then claimed that he saw the doll do all those things. Whether Wisherman was lying or telling the truth, he seemed to believe what he was saying, but the story continues to be viewed with skepticism. The doll was taken and locked away by the police as stolen goods, but later the next day, the doll was reported missing again. Police questioned if Colin Wisherman had an accomplice, or whether this was some sort of prank. He was supposed to be questioned further, but was found dead in his cell in the institution. Autopsy reports confirmed there was blunt force trauma to the head, but it is unknown whether it was forced or self-inflicted. It was also noted that a significant amount of blood had been drained from Wisherman's body, and tiny puncture marks were found on his throat. This is where I come in. My boss wants me to find that doll and turn it over to the police. To be perfectly honest, I don't know what will even come of this case. I don't know what I'll find, but I really don't want to be involved in another paranormal case, especially not one in Atchison. Anyways, my boss sent me a ton of files that contain written journals and diaries and photos from previous owners of the doll. That will come out later. I've got plenty of homework to do as of right now, and for this mission I'll have the assistance of a friend, and he will share all his findings on a Facebook group. So stay tuned for that, and I will keep you posted. Again, this is Jeanne, over and out.